Hey guys, welcome back to my small engine repair channel. Today I've got a STIHL MS194T chainsaw here. Customer says it's bogging. Now, when your STIHL equipment or any two-cycle equipment bogs, guys, the first thing you want to check is make sure your fuel is good. I did check the fuel. The fuel's perfect in the saw. It's actually the STIHL premix from the can in here. The next thing you want to check is to make sure that the spark arrestor is not plugged on your muffler. If it's not plugged, then if your carburetor is adjustable like this one here, what you want to do is turn out the H and the L screw a little bit until the bogging goes away. Now, if the bogging doesn't go away after you do all these things, then you probably have to take your carburetor off and start with that. However, today what I want to do is show you how to diagnose this and some of the things to watch out for whatever problem this saw will have. So what I'm going to try to do right now is start up the saw just to show you how it runs. Now, the first thing I'm noticing from years of experience here is the saw is way too quiet when it wants to start. So I'll try to replicate that so you can hear it. There's hardly any exhaust coming out. So what I think it is a plugged screen arrestor. Now, I know you guys have seen hundreds of spark arrestor cleaning videos, but I thought I'd make one here today because I normally don't do them on the top handle saws. And on these, usually you have to take off the clutch cover. Everything's positioned different from, let's say, your MS170, MS291, etc. Now, the bar and chain are in pretty bad shape on this saw. And the spark arrestor on this saw is right here. So you just have the one screw to take off here, Torx T27. Sure enough, it's plugged. Now, as a homeowner, you can actually remove this screen, put the cover back on without it, but as a professional shop, you just don't want to really go there because you could be liable for whatever happens after, fires, etc. So I've got it in the vise here. I'm just going to heat it up with the propane torch. You want to let it get red for at least 5 to 10 seconds. It'll just incinerate that carbon. I'll let it cool down for a bit. Okay, once it's cooled, I just go with a wire brush and just brush off the burnt carbon here. And the screen is nice and clean now. Now, if the cover of your muffler here of the spark arrestor screen has a lot of carbon, you should burn it off as well. And you want to make sure it's not plugged. This one's not plugged, but there's a lot of carbon buildup. So I'll just do the same thing to this cover. Let it cool down and then clean it up with the wire brush again. Now, while the muffler parts are cooling off, guys, I'm going to start it with the screen arrestor out just to show you what it sounds like. I'm sure you'd be happy to hear that. That's the clutch spinning, guys. I didn't rev it up too much because without the bar and chain, you shouldn't really do that much. It can cause the clutch to come off. All right, let's put the screen back in like that. Now, the reason they put spark arrestor screens, guys, in two-cycle equipment is, as it says, spark arrestors is to stop the sparks that may occur sometimes that come out of a two-cycle muffler. And these sparks can actually cause forest fires. That's why they're in there. And that's why as a shop here, I don't discard them. If the customer wants to do it, that's fine with them, but I just don't do it because of that. So I'm going to put on a new bar and chain on this saw. Here's the part number for the bar. It's the same as the MS170. It's this number right here, 30050083913. And the specs on this are 3/8 by 43 gauge by 55 drive links. That's the chain you will need as well with those specs. Now, often when you put on a new bar and chain, you'll have to back off the adjuster because usually the previous chain is stretched. So you want to line up that little pin into the hole of the bar there. This pin right here. Now, the 194T, you have to put this little pin here sticking out of the brake arm into the hole on the other side here. And then I hold the bar up, check the slack. It is a new chain, so I'll put it on just a little more snug. And here's the tension I have, about 1/2 inch or so. This chain will stretch out a little bit because it's brand new. Now, if you want to change the plug on this saw, take this cover off. The plug's under the cap here. And on this one, you got to be careful because you can easily undo the clip from inside the spark plug cap. And you'll need a scrunch with a 5/8 hex here. This is the smaller plug in this saw here. I've got the 193 like this one, and I believe it has the other NGK plug, the BPMR 7A, which is slightly bigger. And here's the CMR 6H that goes in there. And it's a tiny spark plug. And it's pretty well pre-gapped, guys. You don't need to worry about the gap. Get the cap back on there. Get your air filter cover here. And your plug's installed. Now, if you don't use your saw that much and you want to avoid your muffler getting clogged up like that, what I recommend is True Fuel. Use the 50-to-1 mix. It's always going to be mixed up right for you. It's not going to have too much oil that will actually clog up your muffler like it did on this saw here. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully the video has helped you out, and make sure you're subscribed. Have a great day.